I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live. 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food, So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30, come home, and I'm just so tired. Anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to like the weekend, and I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday. So then I don't get a day off. I don't get a day to relax. I don't get to decompress. So it is really like working 7 days a week.
People of the UK, listen up. Your country is struggling. The cost of living, prices are too high. Food, energy, rent, everything. Hardworking people can't afford the basics. And why? Because of bad leadership. They don't care about you. They waste your money and you pay the price. It's not fair.
Hi lovelies, how you doing? Welcome back again to the channel. My name is Olivia. So family, America is not the America we all know again, and Maga, you guys are actually the cause of all these things. You guys are the cause why things are very high because you voted wrong, right? And now most of you are crying out publicly, begging, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry that I voted for Trump." Blah blah blah. Really? Were you forced? Were you drugged? Why are you apologizing now? I saw a lady crying out and saying, "Oh, she works I don't know how many hours and still she's not able to provide her basic needs. She's not able to provide all that her family needs after working that much," right? Yes, that is why you are Maga, because you voted right. Even if you work from today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, you will not be able to, provide all you want, because the amount of money you're making, things are also going higher. Sorry. So they are all crumbling, they are all crashing out, they're crying for help, um, publicly and all that. And like, the person you voted for doesn't even give a shit about you. Like, he doesn't even give about you, right? So you actually cost this. You actually put yourself into this big shithole that you are in now. So you're going to do what? Carry your cross, right? Next time you will not vote right. You will not vote wrong, because I think I even see a lot of MAGA people saying, "Oh, I denounced MAGA. Now my eyes have opened." Like, really? Anyway, family, let me know what you think about this MAGA in the comment section. Like, I want to know, what do you think about them? What do you want us to do to them? All right, respectfully drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'll come back with more comments, family. Don't go anywhere. Stay with me.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
The answer is you, motherfucker.
You know what we need to motherfucking do? We need to stop pushing Americans past their fucking breaking point! Hustle culture has gotten out of control, and we cannot afford to live here! Stop pushing us past our fucking limits! We just want to be able to breathe! Breathe! We need fucking relief! We work every fucking day, and the money doesn't amount to anything anymore. It's never enough. It's never enough anymore. Like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? When does it stop? Somebody, please, when does it stop? This is not okay, like, at all. It's honestly one of those days where I just want all this to be over. Like, I don't know if there's any saving us or not. This is bullshit.
Happy Buy Nothing Day, everyone. I don't know about you, but my favorite thing so far about today is watching all the right-wing MAGA people melting down over it. I swear the comment sections in my videos and my posts about the economic blackout are full of right-wing troll accounts saying things like, I'm going to clean out my savings to go out and shop today and buy stuff that I don't even need just to own you libs. And first of all, I think a lot of the accounts and people saying that are trolls and they aren't actually going to do it. But the fact that they are even out there just kind of proves that Maga is more interested in owning the libs than making their lives better. And the fact that these Maga trolls are out there saying that they side with the oligarch multinational corporations over everyday people is pretty much the best self-own I've ever seen. So happy Buy Nothing Day and go out there and enjoy those Maga tears.
So you know how people measure inflation in different ways? Like they have different markers. For example, people look at the price of a pint or the rising cost of a Freddo bar. I measure inflation and how bad the cost of living crisis is based on the lack of shagging. We are in a cost of shagging crisis, and you might be thinking, what is this girl talking about? Let me tell you exactly what I'm talking about. So the cost of living crisis, housing market crisis, whatever you want to call it, people can't afford to move out of their houses. So people are, in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, they're still living at home, which means they need somewhere to shag, right? But the price of hotels are so expensive, it is insane. You have like basic hotels like Holiday Inn, Premier Inn, Ibis, whatever, that are costing more than £200 a night, which is insane. So people can't afford to go to hotels because who the hell is spending more than £200 for one night of shagging? So then people don't have anywhere to shag. It's a cost of shagging crisis. The people are not shagging anymore. And that is how I measure inflation, and that is how I know how bad the cost of living crisis is.
Water bills going up, council tax going up, wages aren't. Let's talk real numbers, not headlines. So the average household is already paying £40 to £50, okay, for water already. £150 to £250 on average for council tax. They add the increases on top. It's a small rise, say £20 here, £30 there, but that's £600 a year gone. That's food money, that's your basics gone, that's your school meals, anything else that you're paying extra out for, or if you've got any little bit of extra left each month, it's going to be swallowed up. And if you get a pay rise, because a lot of people are going to get those in March and April, it's often pulled straight back because you have to pay higher tax, higher national insurance, higher deductions. So on paper you earn more, but in real life, you're still worse off. This isn't about being bad with money. If you're feeling the pressure, you're not alone and you're not failing. It's just the system, it's the cost of living that's just keeping us all down. And with more things increasing, people are going to have more worries and more concerns. If you are struggling, please have a look in my bio because there might be some support in there for you.
Are you guys seeing way more ex-MAGA content too? Every single day I'm seeing videos from people who are leaving MAGA. And in the comments, it's a bunch of other people saying that they're also leaving MAGA. I know this pisses a lot of us off, but just listen. These people, for some reason, thought he was going to help them financially. They believed that. And the truth is, it's gotten worse for all of us. And they're furious, and they're sad, and they're scared, and that is what the Trump administration used to manipulate them in the first place. The wage stagnation in this country is going to destroy it. And it always was going to destroy it. And maybe all we ever had was a choice between metaphorical cancer and a metaphorical heart attack. I wanted the metaphorical cancer because I thought we had a better chance of survival. But this issue of people not being able to afford to live, something has to be done about this, or we are going to end up with a real problem on our hands. Maybe I shouldn't say we. Maybe I should say the Trump administration is going to have a problem on their hands.
Anybody who's worked over 60 to 80 hours a week, there's a lot more time in a week than people give credit for. And if you ever go back to working like 40 hours, it feels weird. Like, it feels very, very weird. You feel lazy all the time. It feels unnerving. You just feel like you're not doing anything. And this comes from somebody, I worked 100 hours a week last summer for about 4 months straight. I felt like death afterwards. Never want to do that again. But I do acknowledge that, yeah, now I just feel lazy. Right now I work like 60 hours a week and I feel lazy, man. And I don't know, man. It could just be me, but hey.
To the people who voted for Trump and this administration who are coming online and saying sorry, I want you to know that your apology means absolute dog shit. It means nothing because you willingly and knowingly voted for this man. You re-elected him and put him back in office knowing what policies he stood behind, knowing what values or lack thereof that he had. You were fully aware of what you were doing, and you were okay with it. You were okay with his vitriol and malice being directed towards black and brown people. You were okay with harm and violence being directed towards black and brown bodies. But now that the leopards come to eat your face, and the devils come to collect, you want to say, I'm sorry? You want to skate by with an apology? We're going to need more than that. We're going to need more than that. You deserve your own reckoning. You're not really sorry. What you are is shocked. What you are is dismayed. You're uncomfortable because you thought you were protected. You thought you were safe, but you've seen white bodies drop. It must be so incredibly jarring for you to see the acts of violence that ICE is committing against white people. When black and brown bodies were going down, you could deny their humanity. It was very easy for you to do. But now that the victims look like you and your loved ones, like your family and friends, it's sending shivers down your spine. You're clutching your pearls because you're supposed to be protected by the system. You could deny the humanity in everyone else and think of any and every excuse in the book when it wasn't someone that looked like you. But now that you're seeing victims that resemble you, victims that could be your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your mother, whoever, you're unsettled. And so the apologies can come out. And you can say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry is not going to cut it. You wanted this. You voted for this. You chose this. Have any of y'all actually sat down with your thoughts and reflected on your actions? Because of how you voted, you have done such damage to the country that you claim to love. And all of it is rooted in bigotry, racism, prejudice, and overall hatred. You need to reflect on your heart. You need to reflect on your values. Are you really sorry? Or are you just coming to terms with your fear? You're now understanding what fear is. Ugh.
So we have more bad news about the economy. We already know that it's tanking under Trump and these Republicans, Project 2025, but now we have another source and another barometer that's measuring this. You guys are familiar with Wallet Hub. If you're not, go ahead and search it. They've been around forever. They're a very neutral entity that provides you and me free financial data so we can make more sound financial decisions. And they just compiled their ranking, the worst to the best of states where the state's residents are in the most economic distress. And the results are shocking. So of the top 10 states where residents are in the most financial distress, and what I mean by that, they look at a number of metrics, including the number of people who are behind on their credit card payments, the number of people who've had to make arrangements with their bankers and credit card companies to skip payments to try to catch up, the average credit score of those states' residents, the change in the number of bankruptcy filings, and also what they include are Google searches, 2 Google searches. Which states have the highest number of searches for getting out of debt and for how to secure a loan, okay? Of the top 10 states, all but one are Republican states. Republicans cannot manage finances. They don't care about people. But now under Trump, with the tariffs and the cutting of services and companies laying off everywhere, those states clearly are going to be hit first and the hardest. This includes the top 3 states. Are you ready for this? In the most economic distress: Texas, Florida, and Louisiana. It also includes South Carolina, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Kentucky, and Alabama. And I do want to add the 10 best states where the number of people in economic distress are the lowest. 9 of the 10 are blue states. The one red state, which makes sense, is Alaska. This includes Hawaii, Vermont, New Jersey, Maine, Michigan, Wisconsin. Now I want to dive a little bit into what's going on with Texas and Florida because, of course, Texas has the 8th largest economy in the world. But they have had an increase of 22% in the number of non-business filed bankruptcies. 22%. With the 8th largest economy in the world. Republicans in charge. What are you doing with your people's money? What are you doing with all that money? Why are so many people in distress in your state? Florida. It's ranked one of the highest in terms of residents being in distress regarding skipping payments. The number of folks in Florida calling up the bank, calling up the credit card company, calling up the utility companies and saying, I can't make ends meet. Can I skip this month? Can I skip another month? Can I be put on reduced payments till I get through this? They're the highest. And 23% of Florida residents have distressed bank and credit card accounts, meaning they've been put on notice. They've received legal paperwork because they haven't been paying their bills. Yeah. 23%. Almost 1 in 4 Floridians are close to filing for bankruptcy. Republicans, DeSantis, what are you doing with Florida's money that your folks are struggling so much? Louisiana has the highest number of Google searches for how to secure a loan when you're in bankruptcy. And overall, their residents have the overall lowest average credit scores. It makes sense that red states are going to be hit the hardest first. I'm sharing this because not everybody in red states voted for this bullshit.
Do y'all know that the average American doesn't have any money left over, if but maybe $200 or $300 left after they get paid every 2 weeks or every month? Did y'all know that? I'm sorry, but that I literally feel like it drive me to voluntary homelessness. I would volunteer to be homeless. There's no way they'd have me out here working for anybody and I can't live life after I pay bills. Y'all can have these bills back. Take the car, take the crib. You can have it. Listen, I'm going to be homeless on the streets before I dare. Because, see, the way I'm set up, my Father which art in heaven would never have that be my portion. That's not my portion. There's no way that paying bills and not having any money left over to really exist, that's not my portion. That's not my portion. And I feel like if that doesn't motivate you and inspire you to get out here and go make some money, make more money. See, the problem with us nowadays is not that we don't know how to make money. It's just that we need to make more money. Find ways to make more money. Stop making excuses. You need to be trying to be the president of the United States before you stop trying to find a new job. Listen, if you got to switch jobs every single 2 weeks, then that's what you got to do. May the best salary win. Thank you.
The American dream is so dead, people don't even want to pass it on to their own kids. I read an article about how this is the hugest decline, right, in Americans having children. Americans are not having enough children for the first time in history to replace, themselves, right? But why would somebody bring children into this world, in America specifically? Why would you purposely have a baby in America? Why would a woman even do that? You don't have any control over your body. Government has ultimate control over your vessel. Hell, government will even keep you alive as a host when you're dead, just to make sure it can force you to give birth to that baby. So I don't see the benefit for women, frankly, to have babies. America is not a place for families. It's obviously not a place for families. It's not set up that way. They tax families into oblivion. So why would you sign up for that? So no, that's why people aren't having babies. America, if you want young people to have babies, how about you make this economy affordable? Because right now it's not. It's really set up just for rich people to have babies. So go have the rich women. Oh, that's right. They don't want to have rich women have a whole bunch of babies because their kids are not going to work in factories and stuff. It's supposed to be our kids work in factories. Like I said, that's why people are not having kids. Why the hell would we have kids? Why would anybody have kids in this environment? Why would anybody have kids in this environment? It's not a good environment for children. So kudos to the young folk. If you smart, keep your dress down and your panties up.
60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof. Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country, and of course grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments. We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself. 60% of the American public.
I don't know who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't, and that's me. I have 4 kids, and I'm working 3 jobs, and I'm still struggling. My full-time job, I'm a 911 dispatcher. My other 2 jobs, a waitress. The American dream should not be this hard. I should not have to be working my life away, being away from my kids. Sometimes I have to pick. Am I going to pay my electric bill or am I going to buy groceries? Because my kids need to eat. This is not the American dream. I'm so tired of struggling. So many people are going to working multiple jobs just to pay for a house to sleep in, just to put their head down at night. This is not the American dream, not my American dream. That's why I started posting here on TikTok. So hopefully I can slow down some so I can spend time with my kids. Life shouldn't be this hard. I know one person that's making 6 figures and they're still struggling. Why's it gotta be so hard? Anyways, if you want to help this mama out from struggling, you know what to do. I'm headed into work to work at Buffalo Wild Wings today. I have to work a double. Say a prayer, I make some money.
Hey, what's up, America? Most Americans are in such an affordability crisis that we're desperate for our tax returns so we can pay our bills. So as of right now, 55% of Americans are struggling to pay their bills, and 60% of Americans are struggling to afford food for them and their family. Yes, just struggling to afford food to eat. But now 73% of Americans are saying that they need their tax tax refund in order to pay off past due bills. In other words, if they don't get their tax refund, they will default on their credit cards, be kicked out of their house, or lose their cars, or even have their power shut off. Only 14% of Americans say they're planning to spend their tax refund on anything fun. It's getting so bad out there that 38% of Americans have been forced to move because of high cost. And half of Gen Z has been forced to relocate because they can't afford where they live anymore. Most Americans have given up on living in their ideal location, with 64% of Americans believing that they'll never be able to afford where they want to live ever in their life. And so overall, tax refunds have become nothing but survival money, which is sad as fuck. Now, in another poll, only 19% of boomers are saying that they're struggling. 19% of boomers are struggling, while upwards of 70% of the rest of America are fucked financially. Just think about that. And half of Americans are saying that affordable states are so out of reach that it's unaffordable now. States like Indiana. So face it, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a full-blown affordability crisis here in America. And more than likely, this is why Republicans will be losing the midterm elections to Democrats. Even though that's even more fucked up because Democrats have absolutely no solutions on the table for this. It's just a perception that they might do better. Spoiler alert, they won't. But Donald Trump and his administration say affordability crisis is nothing but a hoax. So you have two political parties that hate your fucking guts. So why do you fuckers keep voting for these douchebags? Vote for an independent.
Hey America, are you guys okay? Because everything we're seeing over here in Australia of what you guys are going through, I don't have words for it. And I genuinely wonder, are a lot of you guys wanting to leave? How does that look right now for you guys, especially with families? If you are planning to go, where are you going? Is it hard to leave right now?
What would be so wrong about nobody having to struggle? Like, at the end of the day, money is a made-up thing. Like, it really is just a piece of paper. It's the worth that we put into that piece of paper. Like, the government literally said, this is how you're going to trade and get things, and so this paper is valuable. And so then it made it so that the more of those dollars you have, you're seen as more than. But it's like, at the end of the day, why does anybody else have to struggle just because they don't have that piece of paper? Like, we have all these vacant buildings, literally just empty buildings, nothing's going on in there. Why can't you guys renovate that and let people go in those buildings and get off the streets if you really want people off the streets and they're making your streets dirty or whatever the fuck? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why does someone have to struggle to eat? Why can't they just have the ability to eat food when there's all of this food that's available in the world? And food gets thrown out of the grocery stores if it doesn't get eaten by a certain time. So there is food for everyone to eat. Like, what is the point of having anyone struggle when everything that they would need is available, and they would be able to have that if they had a piece of paper that everyone gave value to. And since everyone gave value to this piece of paper, that's the reason why they have to struggle and not be able to eat and not have housing. When realistically, like, why do they have to earn their living and earn a house and earn food every day when they didn't ask to live this life at all? They didn't ask to be born, but they have to earn their right to live. Like, this shit is really insane.
America is crumbling, and it's because we're trying to put a band-aid on a huge wound that won't be fully acknowledged or addressed. Colonialism, the religious system, education system, political system, justice system, the financial system, it's all collapsing. And the harder you fight it, the harder it's going to be for you to accept this truth. All of these systems have been built with a colonial mindset. It's like a disease that's slowly spreading. You can't heal an infection by putting new bandages on it. The infection will continue to rot and spread until it's life-threatening. You can't fix a broken system by building new ideas on top of it. You have to address it and acknowledge it at the root. and only then can it be rebuilt. Problem I noticed is how identified everyone in America is with colonization, even the most oppressed people. And it's been done purposefully. It was meant to be that way. Your minds were colonized the moment you came out the womb. And it's because your parents were colonized. Your ancestors were colonized through slavery and genocide. And well, white people did the colonizing, so it's embedded in their culture. It's going to be 10 times harder for them to even accept this. America was built on the blood and tears of indigenous people. It was built on the forced labor and cries of Africans torn from their homeland. No matter how many band-aids we put on America, it continues to fail because we won't admit this truth. Everything you have identified with is about to crumble. Most Americans think that they are superior because of colonial condition. They are about to experience rapid decolonization, and it's not going to be pretty. The more you reject it, the more you're going to suffer. Everybody feels it. Everybody senses that something is coming, but they can't quite put their finger on it because they refuse to see the bigger picture. They refuse to acknowledge the full picture. The souls of indigenous people, the souls of the African people, the souls of all the innocent people who died as a result of colonization are demanding justice. They're demanding we look in the mirror and see who we truly are. Evil, divided, greedy, egotistical, the hate, the mistreatment, the dehumanization immigrants are going through right now is a projection of the internalized shame America refuses to look at. That they were the immigrants, that they stole this land, and now they're telling other people that they can't get in, that they are superior, and this is exclusive. Pride comes before the fall, and unfortunately, that is the case for America. America is the symbol of that pride. It's not death. It's death of a nation identified with illusion. It's revelation. It's reaping the seeds that you sowed.
I looked into MAGA to try and figure out where they're coming from, since most people I know come from MAGA households. And honestly, it sounds good on the surface. But once you actually fact check it, let's just say the flag starts looking a little faded. First, let's talk about immigration and the border. MAGA says we're being invaded. Build a wall. Protect American jobs and safety. But here's the thing. Most undocumented immigrants don't even sneak across the border. They come legally and overstay visas. And study after study show that immigrants commit less crime than US-born citizens. Now let's talk economy and trade. MAGA says Trump's tax cuts helped the economy and tariffs helped get jobs back. But reality says the 2017 tax cuts mostly helped billionaires and added trillions to the deficit. And those tariffs, they tanked US farms and raised prices at Walmart. So if your groceries cost more, think the trade wars. Moving on to energy and climate. MAGA says, drill baby drill, energy independence. But the US was already the top oil and gas producer. Like, we didn't need more drilling. Meanwhile, renewable energy is cheaper, growing faster, and creating new jobs. On to culture wars. MAGA says, we're protecting kids from woke indoctrination. We're pro-life. We're protecting the Second Amendment. Overturning Roe v. Wade took away rights the majority of Americans actually support. And most people, even people who own guns, want basic gun safety laws. So whose freedom are they really protecting? And last, let's talk about foreign policy and America first. MAGA says, why pay for NATO or Ukraine? Let's stop endless wars. America first. Sounds nice until you realize NATO keeps us out of wars by having allies. Pulling back leaves power vacuums for Russia and China. America first kinda turns into America alone. So yeah, on the surface, MAGA seems patriotic and simple. But dig a little deeper and the policies either don't add up, or they actually hurt the people they're promising to help. If you're gonna say America first, maybe start with the truth first.
We are here today to draw attention to the latest attempts by House Democrats to raise the cost of living for the hardworking people of Illinois. The latest bills filed to increase taxes on backyard campfires and all kinds of grocery bags are an insult to working families who are simply trying to live their lives and afford to feed their families in a state that continues to reach into their pockets year after year.
What I've seen in the last couple of weeks coming from House Democrats has disturbed me greatly. First, a proposal to impose a tax on backyard campfires. That'd be House Bill 4459 that will charge up to $5 for permits for open burns, including backyard fire pits and campfires, with high potential fines for noncompliance. So then let's talk about another taxpayer initiative that the Democrats have. They've dreamed up for this session, a carryout bag tax. That's House Bill 5112. No matter if it's a paper bag, plastic bag, reusable bag, they're going to get me for, starting in 2027, 10 cents a bag. Then in 2028, it goes up to 15 cents, 20 cents in 2029, and a quarter in 2030. And it's not a one-time fee or tax. It's a permanent escalating tax on necessities, and it hits families every time they shop. So if you feel like it never ends, you're exactly right. Between taxing your backyard campfires and the bags you would use to bring home those things for that fire, the Democrats want to get in your pocket every day.
I think the craziest thing about Donald Trump accepting this $400 million plane is that he will be riding around in that $400 million plane while many Americans cannot afford basic necessities and are struggling to make ends meet every month. Donald Trump ran his entire campaign on making the economy better and making things more affordable for everyday Americans. But I truly cannot wait for the Trump supporters to do their mental gymnastics and explain to all of us on how him accepting a $400 million plane is going to help the economy and make anything more affordable for us. While we're on that note, I would like Trump supporters to pick one policy that Donald Trump has implemented in the last 100 days and explain to me on how that made anything more affordable for us. Because where I'm sitting, every single thing that Donald Trump did in the last 100 days was not for us. It was for him and his billionaire friends to get richer. But honestly, the political cartoon that somebody's probably already thinking of will perfectly depict on how the Trump administration is playing out right now, aka the president running around in a $400 million plane while people are still struggling to afford basic necessities.
And somebody got to say it, the only people that are still breeding and having kids and procreating are slow people. You got to be slow. That's the only explanation I can think of. Either you're slow, you're delusional, you live in some type of delusional la-la land. I don't know. You don't have no type of situational awareness. It got to be something, arrested development, male-centeredness, something. And that's why I think the world will never change, because there will always be people to continue the cycle. There will always be poor people continuing the cycle. There will always be traumatized people continuing the cycle. There will always be male-centered women continuing the cycle. And like I said, slow people, because slow people don't think ahead of anything. Intelligence be chasing them, but they're just too damn fast. Y'all be doing exactly what the government want us to do, to continue to have kids, to continue procreating, so the cycle can continue and nothing will ever change. As long as we keep having kids, nothing will ever change. Y'all are giving them exactly what they want. But who cares? Who cares? You know, who cares? Y'all want a mini-me.
A Gen Z worker made a video where she was crying about how exhausting it is to work a 40-hour work week and only be paid $2,000 a month.
$2,000 is way too little, especially for people who live in coastal areas like myself, where I live in California. But the harsh truth that a lot of Gen Zers don't want to hear is that this is the way life is. I talked to a Gen Zer recently where she told me that she worked at Walmart and was getting paid minimum wage. And she told me that this wasn't fair and that she deserved to be paid $100,000 a year. I told her that no one is ever going to pay her $100,000 for the work that she does. There are many people willing to do that job for much less, and that truthfully, the skills for that job are not high-paying skills. The market doesn't care about your feelings. It only rewards your output and the problems you solve. So if you want to get paid more, you have to get out of your comfort zone and learn new skills. If you don't know where to start, YouTube and ChatGPT should be your best friends. And it's free. Because the biggest lesson that I taught my students when I was a public school teacher is that you get paid bigger checks if you can solve bigger problems.
Guys, I want you to forget the headlines right now. The real crisis in America right now is the cost of living. Groceries are up, rent is up, gas, healthcare, insurance, everything costs more. The politicians keep telling us the economy is fine. It's fine. Meanwhile, working Americans are doing the math and falling behind. Inflation is crushing our families. Retirees and blue-collar workers, it's hitting them the hardest, guys. Why is the economy becoming the #1 political issue in the next election? I don't know. Trump says a strong leadership, energy dependence, and America's first economic policy can turn this around. Others say just be patient. Meanwhile, we don't have time to be patient, guys. But patient doesn't pay the bills. So what I want to hear from you, what's gotten more expensive for us this year? I don't know. Seems like everything. What do you think the economy is actually working for regular Americans, or do you think it's working against us? Drop your comments in the below, please, because I need to hear this from other people. Guys, we got to get this under control. It's hitting us all hard. At the pump, at the grocery store, it's hitting us everywhere.
Alright guys, thank you for watching that video. If you find it very interesting, please make sure to like it. Support the channel by subscribing to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye and stay safe.